All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Coffee with a Candidate with the Mount Juliet Chamber. It's our pleasure today to introduce to you and spend a few minutes to maybe get to know Joseph Padilla a little better. He is seeking the position for school board, Wilson County Zone 4. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why don't you tell us, start out and tell us just a little bit about you and what you'd like the voters to know about your campaign. And then we'll ask a few questions, have a conversation, and we'll probably wrap up in 15, 20 minutes. How's
Okay.
that?
Yeah. First, I just want to say thank you for putting this together. It means a lot that you're able to inform the community about all the candidates, so make sure they make a wise decision. So thank you for that, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
A little bit about me. First, I'm a believer in faith. I believe in God. I believe Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. So that's where it all starts. I am married to a wonderful wife named Joy. We've been married for 22 years. She's an educational assistant at Mount Juliet Middle School. We have two children. We have a 19-year-old son that's a sophomore. He's a sophomore at Cumberland University. And then I have a 15-year-old son who we just transferred from Green Hill High School to Mount Juliet Christian Academy here this semester due to some of the things that I'm wanting to fix within the schools, and we can get into that later if you want to. I've lived in Mount Juliet for 12 years, off and on. Of course, I was in the Marine Corps for 20 years. So for a large portion of that, I was traveling and moving while my family was here, and then we moved out of the area, and then we came back. So, but this is home. You know, I retired here to Mount Juliet because of the teachers, the school system, the community as a whole. And this is where I'm a huge family man, and my family's from Georgia. I was raised in Georgia. And when I retired, it was debating whether I was going to move back home to be by them or stay here in Wilson County. But we loved it so much. My kids moved around so much. This is where they wanted to plant our roots. So this is where we're at, sir.
Well, very good. Thank you for your service as well. And I might add, for those that don't know, Zone 4 is pretty much west of 109, north of I-40, clear up to Lebanon Road, and actually takes in Lebanon Road or Mount Juliet Road from I-40 all the way to Lebanon, and then clear to the Davidson County line, correct?
Yes, sir.
And my office happens to be sitting just about dead center.
Right in the middle, yes, sir.
So quite a big coverage. I'm sure you've been out there and knocking on a lot of doors. What are you hearing, and how did that maybe motivate you to say, you know what, I want to take a chance at helping guide this ship?
Okay.
No, that's a Navy thing. Guide
That's okay.
How's that?
That's okay. Marines, Navy, we're Department of the Navy, so it's all okay. We get along. I really love our corpsmen and Seabees. Those are some important people, but they're all important. So what's interesting is it all started back about 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't even realize it. I was actually part of the PTO at West Wilson Middle School, and 1 year I just assisted and helped, and then the next year I was actually the vice president of the West Wilson Middle School PTO. And we had a meeting one time, and the principal wanted us to purchase a curriculum, and this curriculum was rooted in anti-racist and some of the critical race theory type of information. Once I did the research, and so when we gathered back together and we went over this, we decided not to purchase that. So that opened my eyes to what's going on in the schools, because we all are sitting here as parents and as residents and citizens, just not really understanding what's being brought to the schools or what's being taught. And so this kind of opened my eyes to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on. As we progressed, we didn't pay for it, but they got somebody else to pay for it. So it still got inside the schools. But as we progressed and COVID, picked up, I was definitely against all the forced mandates and mask mandates. And with the virtual schooling going on, my son was home, and I got to see a lot more of what they were being taught in the schools. And I really wasn't too impressed with some of the objects that were being taught. And one quick example, just a program called Chief 3000, and there's articles that young children, young students read and go through, and they have articles on there that we're talking about vaccine hesitancy and how no one should be afraid of getting a vaccine. Now, this is 6 months before the vaccine for COVID came out. So to me, it just seems like there was something going on that I needed to lift the carpet up and see what exactly why are these things being pushed? Why are these topics being brought up with, middle school and high school students? So once, being a Marine, we run towards the sound of chaos. And when you see something that doesn't really fit the narrative of what you thought was going on, you have to inspect a lot more. So, just being an advocate, I've spoken at numerous school board meetings. I've met with the director, Mr. Luttrell, and he's an amazing leader. I can't wait to help him. And like I said, I think Wilson County is the greatest county in Tennessee, and I love it. I love the schools here, but there's some things that need to be tightened up, in my opinion. And that's what I'd like to go do, is just say, tighten these things up, see where we're having redundant spending, see where we can, find money for teachers and bus drivers and cafeteria workers. And, I have all these dreams and aspirations, and that's what you got to do. You got to have those things and be wanting to change those things. So, like I said, it's not one thing that I just woke up and decided to do. It's been a cumulative total of all these things happening over the past couple of years that make me want to get involved. So, yes, sir.
As you're knocking on doors, are you finding that your similar concerns, or is it falling on deaf ears? Are people aware of what you're talking about? And the support seem to be out there to do what you're suggesting?
So I would say that we talk about accountability. That's a big thing. And I'm going to get to your question. I'm not trying to, but accountability, when I come to these houses, and I'm not a politician, the other two candidates in zone 4 have both ran campaigns before. So this is I'm brand new, and they're veterans. So I'm learning this on the go. So when I knock on these doors and we talk, and they're like, well, every politician says they want to be held accountable, and they're going to hold themselves accountable, or they're going to be transparent. And I ask, my next question is, do you even know who your school board zone member representative is? And a lot of them, they don't know who they are. They also don't know what the last major vote that they had that impacted the county. So one thing is me being out there in front of everyone to know exactly who they need to hold accountable, and how I'm going to vote to represent, the citizens. But knocking on doors, I think that, yes, everything that I've talked about, whether it's the tax dollars and the redundant programs, whether it's the curriculum and the books, I actually carry a packet around, because if they have questions of books that are in our schools, and some of the sexually explicit images, the sexually explicit wording in the book, so that if they want to see, I can offer it to them to show them exactly how bad it is, because we don't want to ban books. Okay. We want age appropriate books. However, a lot of the people in this county, I don't think they understand how far off we have come from Romeo and Juliet and their Palmer's Kiss. Okay. We are in some very risky books they're using comic book pictures to portray sexual acts, and it's available to our kids in the libraries. And when people actually look and they're like, wow, I didn't know it was that bad. We have alternatives. We don't have to teach our kids using those books. So yes, I think that they all have an understanding of what's going on, but they don't know the specifics. And that's what my job is to make it, to show them the specifics of what's going on, because everyone can talk about it and say it's there and it's here, but who's going to actually be transparent to give it to them and show them? Because that's what they need. They need something that's easily accessible. You can't look up right now and find how your school board member voted without having to go through hours of videos, or to go through different layers of emails to find it. It should be transparent and right up front. So I've developed a newsletter that's going to come out monthly that talks about exactly the things that came up for vote, the things that are on for the next docket, and then how each member voted, so the citizens can actually decide what's going on. But yes, I hope that answered your question, though. Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't,
Yes, sir.
very passionate about it, and well spoken. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people like yourself and many others are finding Wilson County a great place to move to. Many of these people, if not almost all of them, they have a choice. They can move, at least in the national area, probably about anywhere they want, and they're choosing Wilson County. And by and large, other than maybe the commute or it's a great place for retirees, is to the education is at the top of the list of the reason that people want to move to Wilson County. So we have our issues and challenges, and probably always will, but we're doing some things pretty good. What are some things that, when you compare us maybe to one of the many other school systems around. What is it that you think is something that separates us in a good way?
Well, the most important thing here that you talked about is people moving here for education. And I hear the phrase that people are moving here for the schools, and I agree, but I disagree. They're moving here for the teachers, because the teachers are the ones that are teaching at the schools. So one thing that is above Wilson County, I believe, than the other counties is the dedication and the environment in the school system. Okay. As a Marine, when I was in the Marine Corps, I trained recruiters in recruiting. I visited every school in this state, every school, every high school. That's what my job was, to go to all the high schools and teach Marines how to recruit. So I've been in the environment of every one of these schools across the state. It's different in Wilson County. When I walk into Stoner Creek Elementary, it's a family. I know Miss Linda, was a kids club years ago. I know the principal, like it was a family, and people love that. People love that we have our SRO officers right there prominent to protect our kids. People love that the leadership, Mr. Luttrell, his ideas and his beliefs and want to take care of every kid. When you look at it as a whole, that's why people are moving to Wilson County, is because we do have the best schools. Now, nothing is ever perfect, of course. Everything can improve, and those are the things that I'm wanting to just make it better. My goal is to make Wilson County's Wilson County school system the best that it can be, so that if a charter school did move here, or even the private schools, no one would even consider going, because our schools would be so great. That's where we need to be, and we're close. But I think that they need somebody like me to come in and just make a few slight adjustments, do a little bit more research, get rid of some redundant spending, and save taxpayers money, and just do what the Wilson County citizens want. That's what we need to focus on, not what the health department wants, not what the state wants, not what the federal government wants, but what do Wilson County residents want. And as a representative, every day, twice on Sunday, that's where I'll stand up for.
Very good. And I'm one of those who, people are moving here for the schools, education. I love the analogy of they're coming here for the teachers.
Yes, sir.
I take back everything I've ever said about that, and I agree with
Yes, sir.
No, that's it really does come down to
and just one thing though that you brought up, they are moving here, and the housing market is amazing right now, right? For sellers, not for buyers. Here's our issue though, those same teachers, right? Those same teachers that live here, and the new teachers that I want to bring in, they're not going to be able to live here on the prices or on the wages that they're getting. So we're pricing ourselves out of great teachers, and they're going to have to commute. And if you know what a teacher does when they commit to teaching, they're the first ones here and the last ones to go. The last thing I want a teacher to do is have to drive from Mount Juliet High School all the way to the south, to Antioch, or to Laverne, or to Smyrna, or to Davidson, or all the way out to, that's what we have to find a way to take that redundant spending and these funds. And those teachers, they love it here, but that love, like, man, it's hard when when you're so passionate, but you have to drive and commute because they want to put everything into it and they just want to be appreciated. So that's just something that we have to do, because if you look at a single teacher moving to Wilson County and trying to get an apartment, that's on that pay. I think people would be shocked to see that we're making it harder to attract the best and brightest young teachers because of our great economy. So how do we fix it? We have to find money to pay them. So sorry to go off a little bit, but yes.
No, that's one of those challenges that's
Yes, sir.
out there that's very real to a lot of people. And they use the terms affordable housing. Well, some will tell you that $1 million house is affordable if you've got $1 million, but workforce, two teachers making, it's all public, you can go see. You don't have to be a mathematician to see debt to income, and you're probably not, when a new home starts at north of 450, a starter home, we've got challenges. And if they leave, it may not be because they want to, but because they just can't afford to live here. And so anybody that's willing to step up and be a part of the solution to that, thank you. You're spot on with that. So doesn't matter how good they are, if we don't pay them, they leave. We're no better off than we were.
Well, a farmer can have 1 million tractors, but if he's only one farmer, it doesn't matter how many he has. So we've got to have the teachers in there. So
very well said. Hey, let's wrap up, and if you would just take a quick minute and tell the voters why you would like for them to vote for you, reminding of early voting, and thank anybody that you need to thank, so they don't say, you didn't even say anything to me.
Yeah, no. I think all my supporters, I don't have huge endorsements. I don't need a huge endorsement. My endorsement is my neighbor. My endorsement is the neighbors in all the neighborhoods out here. So, but first of all, thank all my supporters. I hear you, and I'm going to do exactly what I'd say I'm going to do. So, first of all, April 13th, this Wednesday, early voting. And here's why you should pick Joseph Padilla is one, we're in a new environment that we've never been in before when it comes to the school system, when it comes to our community, as far as whether you have inflation, whether you have the cost of things going up, whether you have alternative agendas behind curriculum that's put in our schools, and not purposefully, but maybe accidentally. Regardless, is we need somebody to get into the school system that's not going to be afraid to dig deep and find out what exactly is going on and be able to display that to not only the director and the other school board members, but also to the community. There are things that are happening that it's so broad, so when you go to vote, you've got to think you are hiring me. All right. A United States Marine that is vowed to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, right? And I want to do that for this community. I'm fully retired. The school board position should not be a part-time position. And I'm able to commit the time and energy. I'm not in college, right? I don't have a job where I have to travel. My job is going to be every day executing the plan of what I've promised all my voters. And I have the time to do it because I'm fully retired. So all you voters, when it's time for you to pick who you want to vote for, if everything's the same and you want someone to fight for you and your voice, please take a look at Joseph Padilla and my extensive experience and background. I promise that I won't let you down, sir. Ladies and gentlemen.
Very well said, Joseph. It was a pleasure to spend some time with you. I hope our paths cross one of these days.
Yes, sir.
It'll be a pleasure to shake your hand and thank you for your service. Everybody, please get out and exercise your right to vote and your responsibility. And we appreciate you and your willingness to throw your name in the hat for public service.
Yep.
For the kids and the teachers and the taxpayers.
Thank you, sir. And send in the Marine, sir.
You still got a day and a half to get out and knock on some doors.
Yes, sir.
Grab an umbrella. Thank you very much. Bye,
God bless you, sir. Good night. Have a good day.